For the people showing up here on the live stream, we'll see you in a moment. But the playback is going for those who will play this later. So I will start you off with some words and what we're going to be talking about today. You know, your boy got to check the audio because it has been crazy. Hold on, let me make sure your boy good audio wise. Let's see. It may take a moment for this to come through, just like this algorithm is going to take a moment for people to come in. Do this, do this, do this. Crazy. Oh, let me make sure your boy good. Man, I swear, dude. I'm gonna have to keep distance from this mic. Let me make sure if I'm keeping distance from this mic, I'm gonna be straight. Like it's been having some of y'all have been hearing it on YouTube world. It gets kind of muffled at times. I swear, dude. I'm gonna have to keep. Let's see how this sounds. Let me make sure if I'm keeping distance from this mic, I'm gonna be straight. I still think it's like it's been having some of y'all have been hearing it on YouTube world. It gets kind of muffled at times. Man, okay, we're gonna go with it. It's not muffled right now. Let's see how this sounds. And I'll try to stay back from the mic some. I think when I get real close, it's kind of overpowering it. So I'm gonna try to stay back from the mic. What's up, folks coming in TikTok world? What up, crew? What? Chris Vine said, "Peace of love, positivity, and prosperity to you. Appreciate it." What's up, Tabitha? Love to see you this morning. This rising. I'm sorry. I love. Good to see all of y'all, man, coming up in here. Great, great show, information, whatever for us today. I just did a video about it, and I had to go live, but I also found the full newspaper clip that I had cut off yesterday from 1743 South Carolina, talking about schoolmasters being training Negroes to be schoolmasters. And what's sinister is I go further down, they talk about people called the church wardens. The church wardens. So this is about to be interesting. I said, bro, I'm watching your last live playback since I missed it. Man, I still got an hour left. That's what's up. Appreciate that, crew. And here I am about to stuff another 3 hours in your face. So it's tough to go through. I've been mad at this fuck all morning. Oh, yeah. What's up, Tasha Nicole? Yeah, I know what you mean by it's tough to go through because the topic is pretty sinister on what they did. Pretty sinister on what they did to our people and how they're doing it and the routes they went through to do it is wild. It's wild. Said it's tough to go through that piece. What up, Scrappy D? Up. Let me look over here on the YouTube side. We got people this early morning on the YouTube, early rising on the YouTube. The Great Down One. What up, boss? Sounds good right now. Cool. Man, it might be tripping. Reclassified black, white, Indian. He says Samuel and Tribe in the chat. Grand Rising. Gotta get Grand Uprising. Grand Rising, boss. Yeah, we're gonna get it in. Like typically when I go live in the morning, I'm like just right in front of my MacBook. I mean not MacBook, my iPad, and that works. People still come in and love that, you know. But I wanted to come in on this subject. I was like, let me not be lazy. I know it's early in the morning, you know. I'm still in shorts, but hey, I at least threw a shirt on and a necklace. Brush my teeth, wash my face, even though you can't smell my breath. I'm still brushed, okay? Might smell like ganja, you know, because your boy be on it, you know, in the mornings. And I'm going to be on it on this broadcast. Boy, I wish I could just go at it with the TikTok broadcast and just be sitting here. But, you know, I can wait. I can wait. So, wasted enough time. Great and Grand Zal, what up with you? To Team Beansy boy. What's happening with you? Okay, we're gonna get into this game. Let me pull up my iPad. And you know when I pull up the iPad, it goes down. Act like I can't remember where to click. Okay, here we go. Extra camera. All right. All right. Boy, it's a different world. So this is my all right, y'all. This is my Black Magic Studio camera. This is when you pay for high quality cameras, and what you get when you have to use your other camera on the FaceTime. Boy, that's a big difference, ain't it? Like, man, you don't look good. I thought you looked good, Sam. You kind of looked attractive. Now you look kind of dingy. uh I'm back. I'm back to looking smooth and good. You know what I'm saying? That's horrible. Okay. So now we're gonna go ahead and get into the game. What up to now, Wall? What's happening? We're about to get into the game. All right, I open it up. So let's open this up. All right, let's scoot that over. Switch sides. Now, not only are we going to be reading this entire thing today, since I found the entire thing finally, not finally. I mean, yesterday I had it, but I had it screenshotted, and I only had to screenshot it to about yay far, or so, about yay far. So now we get to see the rest, and it is very eye opening. Very eye opening. Let me do this so I don't have to keep doing that. Let me screenshot a couple screenshots so I don't have to keep doing that. We'll do this. We'll do that because otherwise I'm gonna have to keep my fingers on there. And we'll do this. Okay. All right. But also, besides talking about the whole kind of going back into yesterday's topic, we're going to talk about what I found this morning. I wasn't even looking for it. This is how the universe, this is how I know the ancestors got my back over Tariq's. Ain't the ancestors ain't got Tariq's back. Okay. That's why he's in a greedy position doing getting all that money off the community and not utilizing nor his influence nor his money in a major way to help the community. The small things he's done over time make us feel like he's done things, but many of those things, like the FBA expos, the the conventions, and everything like that, it's a money making opportunity. He's going to charge the vendors. He's going to charge you to get there. In many cases, sometimes it might have been. I don't think any of those was free. Maybe one of them things might have been free. Like the only thing I think was free was the FBA rally, where he might have utilized some kind of funds. But even then, I think he might have crowdfunded for that. And a lot of his projects he crowds funds for. And I'm not against crowdfunding. In fact, I may do some type of crowdfunding so I can expedite the travel expenses for my documentaries. But I don't want to do that yet and try to ask my people to do it. And even then, it's not that I'm asking, and even when he did it, like I ain't horrified with it, because if you're asking people just to pay $5 to pre-pay for the stream or something, $10 pre-pay for the stream, and then when it comes out and you deliver the video and they get the stream, that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. But you know, but once you've made a lot of profit off a particular subject dealing with particular people who have been aggrieved and they are looking for answers, help, and you know they are the ones that need the most help, you got to do a lot more with your time and your finances to help those people than just get online and talk shit about Africans every day. He could be financing. Let me give some solutions. Tariq could be financing genealogists. He could be influencing. He don't If he don't want to pay the money to the genealogist, he can influence the GoFundMe's that the people will donate to that will fund the genealogist. Now no money comes out of his pocket versus an FBA expo or a film or whatever. You can use your influence to go to multiple black owned businesses, purposely sit down and do free signings or little autograph signings to bring light to these businesses on a consistent basis. Let him tell it. He'll be like, "I do that. I've done that." You know, when you do it once or twice in a year, you'll use that as an excuse forever in your life, right? Like me personally, like okay, for instance, and then we're about to get into it, but I'm just kind of giving time for people to kind of get coming in and stuff. But like for instance, I get I get plates from an Instagram. She started off on Instagram making Instagram, nice plates on, and she would sell them on Instagram, and she would deliver. And typically, I'm the type of person I kind of need you to deliver because I stay downtown and my purpose for staying downtown. So when I get home, I don't have to go nowhere far. You know what I'm saying? And she stayed pretty far, not that far, 20 minutes or so. And she would deliver. So I would always, she had a delivery fee, and I would even tip for like I would a Uber driver. I know some people don't think to do that to somebody on Instagram delivering you a plate, but think about that. If you're gonna tip the Uber driver, go on ahead and tip the person if they delivered it. If you picked it up, you ain't gotta do that. But I'm saying all that to say she eventually got good to the point to where she got the money, got herself a food truck. So she's trying a different route, but with the food truck, cuts delivery out, right? So when I was there last night, I've been recently. I back in the day, I did. I could get tired. I don't like to drive a lot, even though I do. I'm not bragging at all, but even though I do have one Benz, I just had got another Benz, and that's really nice. One of my favorites. And I was like, now I need any excuse to drive that motherfucker anywhere, right? So she had just went to be got her food truck, and so now I'm there all the time. I tell myself I want to drive at least several times a week. The other vehicle, and then two, the least I can do while she's trying to make her come up is to go to her establishment directly. It may inconvenience me somewhat. I get to ride around, and I got a 12-inch sub I done threw in that bitch already, so I'm killing the game as I'm rolling. Uh but as I pull up, you know what I'm saying, she still gets to get the customer. And I'm getting to this, I was talking to her last night about it. I said, you probably said, I said to her, I said, you probably thought you wasn't gonna see me after you stopped delivering, huh? Because I used to tell her, like, shit, if you didn't deliver, girl, I don't know what I would do. I don't know. I used to say that all the time. So when she when I got there last night, I was like, you probably thought I wasn't gonna come up here no more, or come up here at all. She was like, I ain't gonna lie. She was like, to be honest with you, most of my customers didn't come back. After that, I was like, damn. But good thing, every time I pull up, she always has a lot of customers out front. So I ain't tripping. And I hope well, I say I ain't tripping. Shit, it ain't my motherfucking bread. I hope she's meeting her motherfucking numbers for the up. Because once you take on the motherfucking truck, plus you got employees. She be having an employee almost every single time now. Plus you got all the gas and propane that you got to use. Gas and propane the same thing, but the propane tank you got to use for your generators and and now you got to cook the food live instead of cooking it at home and being able to deliver it and whatever, because now you got to deal with the health department. So everything's got to be fresh, and it's a change. It's a change, man. And so the last thing I wanted to do was not make sure I go up there and give them a little $30-$40 plate. I know that's a lot, right? But I get the salmon and shrimp. Man, hold up. You probably you probably not gonna be able to see what it is. What's up? What up, y'all in the chat, FBA? I think I'm in wrong live. You're not in the wrong live if you FBA. But if you're a Tariq lackey, where you just everything Tariq says goes, um, then yeah, you're in the wrong live. You're in the damn sure in the wrong live. Now you probably can't really see it. Your boy been eating, and that's my leftovers, which that's the cool part about it too. Almost every time I got leftovers, I got at least 2 meals out of this bitch. And if I eat the whole thing in one setting, I ain't gonna like myself. My stomach is, yeah, it's the worst. It's too much food. But on top of this, I got extra cornbread like this right here. Technically, the salmon, shrimp, rice, two sides with the cornbread. I think it's like around 32, 34. And you got to think this is salmon and shrimp, plus healthy servings, a good amount of servings. But then the cornbread, it's like eating. I got to get extra pieces of cornbread every time. It's like eating yellow cake. I'm gonna be fucking this up later. I'm gonna put it back up in a second. But okay. Let's get on to the game. What up, Shy? What's happening with your boss, man? And I don't know how I can see if I'll keep it on this screen for right now so I can see if somebody tries to whatever. Okay. All right. So yeah, we're gonna get into the game. So yeah, I think I said everything I was going to say about that. I thought I had something else I had left to say. Okay, so I want y'all to know, man, when I say the universe and the ancestors be sending me shit, um, I don't be asking for it. Now, y'all see that right there? Negro cloth. I wasn't looking for this. Okay, this is in 1732. Now we're gonna get into this Negro cloth thing, and then we'll pivot to finishing up from yesterday the article about the schools and the sinister use of Negroes as pastors to enslave our youth via apprenticeships backed by insurance companies. Crazy how I can even rat it off now. I want y'all to know too. I sent a message to Travis with American History Decoded, American Ancestry Decoded, whatever what his new channel name, Handsome History. Some of y'all know him. I sent him a message about it, and he was like, "Man, yeah, man, we got to build, hopefully we'll probably run a live stream together." And every word that every thing that not word, but every topic he talked about, I'm gonna have them visuals, and all of these visuals are gonna be personal, mostly from my own personal family going through this shit. So this is gonna be an amazing thing. So let's get back to the Negro cloth. Now, Negro cloth. Why am I on the Negro cloth? Well, those who remember, let me pull it up for the So we have what was said by Tariq right here.
Part of that for the whole time. Let me build.
I wonder if I could change my background color. Shouldn't have to try to do that now, right? Y'all like, nigga, nobody give a damn about that blue background back there. I want it to be black though. God damn it. Somebody can't. Let me see. I can't figure. I don't want to spend no time trying to do that right now. Whoops. I closed out my chat. Hold up. Yeah, I don't want to spend no time trying to do that. Okay, let's go. Let's listen to this.
Build on that. Hold on. Let me build.
What up, Mike P?
Build on that. Even blue jeans, sir. That came out of foundational Black Americans in slavery. The denim, they called it Negro. Yeah, the blue jeans. You got blue jeans. Yeah, because we knew how to work the indigo and we knew how to dye and make up the blue dye with the indigo and the jeans. So we were cultivating blue jeans as we know it, sir.
Yeah, he has to be getting his talking points from white people, from white documentaries. And we've seen some of these because they're the only ones that say that shit. Yeah, they're the only ones that say that shit. Let me see. I'm gonna remove that real quick. So he said both the Negro cloth, right? Now let's look at it. Well, let me just show. He said both the Negro cloth and he said indigo. Now we already debunked the whole indigo thing, right? But for the quick, I guess I got to send all this shit over from my phone because I haven't sent it over yet. I thought I would have sent it over. A nigga ain't prepared. Hold up, y'all. me send this over. So here it goes. Sorry. I'm gonna just send all these just in case because I thought they were over there on that phone. I mean on my iPad already. Yeah, I think that'll do it. Okay, so just for the playback, we've already debunked the whole indigo because we have the American Indian Encyclopedia of Contributions to the World, and it'll tell us that indigo has been here. It really says over 6,000 years in Peru. Okay, for the usage, we're not gonna stick on that too long now because what he tried to say when I went live with on his live stream was that he wasn't talking about indigo, he was talking about denim, the cloth. Now, denim, the cloth, is just man, I didn't send that over either. I love y'all, man. Sometimes I take screenshots with my phone before I do a video, and but most of the times I do it with my iPad before I send it to my iPhone. But sometimes I do it backwards. Okay, so with the Negro cloth, this is what they're talking about. This right here. Okay. Now it's white before it turns blue. Do you know why it's white? It's made out of 100% cotton. It's not like we wouldn't have been dyeing cotton, 100% cotton. We had cotton here since before Christopher Columbus landed. He took some back with him. We saw that already, right? And for the playback, I guess I'll show real fast. We'll put mantles. Well, no. We'll put parrot right here. Christopher Columbus, he took with him 10 Indians, 40 parrots, many rabbits, some yams or sweet potatoes. You know, when somebody said, when this is, because this is the Spanish word for potato, and somebody was like, don't your granny call them potatoes? And I was like, potatoes. I was like, get out of here, But it's pronounced in Hispanic, supposed to be pronounced batatas or something. I don't know, batatas. But yeah, that's exactly how we pronounced it. Is my grandma, but also cotton. So Christopher Columbus took cotton with him back on his first voyage. So he was so intrigued by this substance that he says, I need to take some of that shit back, which tells me they must not have had it over there. They must have been using some other form of something for clothing. I don't know what it is, but why would he take cotton if they already had it over there? Yeah, I figured I'd bring you some to prove to y'all that they got it over there too. Nigga, you couldn't just told us that? You couldn't have just told us that shit? Yeah, they got cotton over there. No, the reason why you would bring something is you want somebody to see. Look at this. Look at this cotton shit. This shit grows out the motherfucking ground. And then you could throw it in some clothes, nigga. Wow, right? Okay. And Negro cloth, according to them, is made of 100% cotton, which we had cotton, right? He said, batatas, tomatoes. Yeah, my grandma said potatoes, potatoes. Yep. Probably hemp. I didn't think about that. They might have made hemp clothes or something else. Wool. I didn't think about that. Good catches. Good catches. I didn't even start to think about what else could they have been using over there for their clothing. But there are other kind of things like wool. There would be lambs and stuff over there, sheep, and stuff like that. I didn't think about that. Good. That's what's up, y'all. It says, bruh, you are tireless with this much respect. He said, bruh, you are tireless with this much respect. I don't know what you're saying there, Bernard Henry. Um, oh, you said, okay. Okay. I thought you meant like something like disrespect or something, and you just miss. I get it. You are tireless with this. Much respect. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. Appreciate that. Appreciate that, Bernard. I am on it every day. I ain't gonna lie all the time, man. Like right now, it said he means your hard work. Okay, you got it. You got it. Yeah. See, I didn't. I read it wrong. What up? Call me Gabby. Potato is accurate. Um, Bro, you are trying. Oh yeah, yeah. You got it. Yeah, y'all both got it. See, I read it wrong. No, Bernard Henry, appreciate you. Appreciate you. Yeah, yeah. And let me do that. Whoops. Okay. So there was something I was about to say. Oh yeah, because he said I'd be on it all the time. Look, that's why technically I only talk to women that don't want a continuously daily kind of relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like to be honest, like and there's those out there. There's people that are on the same thing, like people who they got so much going on in their life, they don't really want to have to call people every day and ask you all these questions and be on the phone with you for 3 hours. And you know what I could be? You know how much research I could have done in 3 hours? Not that I don't want to be around a woman, because I can knock you out, I can knock you down for 2 to 3 hours, but you got to give me 2 to 3 hours to get on this research. Okay. And I mean that for real. But at the same time, like the type of woman, if I do get a woman that's gonna be like in my life every day, we'd have to be the type of people where we sit next to each other, nigga, researching our own separate shit or the same thing, whatever, at times, whatever. And we got our own things going. We know basically, how to respect each other's time that they need to do their own thing mentally. When you get in relationships, boy, it's like you in each other's mind all day. You know what I mean? And that's cool. That works for some. It works for some. I've been there. Right now, I'm not right there. I've been married. I've been all that. So anyway, let me get off that. So the Negro Claw. 100% cotton. Now, let's just read this, okay? We got 44 people over there. TikTok world, appreciate y'all that done came up in here. Appreciate y'all that's been throwing gifts. Let me look up at the gifts. Appreciate all of y'all. Shonda, the original American. Is that original American? Some of it gets cut off here. Yeah, the original American. Shy, appreciate it. Sister Moon, appreciate it. Appreciate all y'all. All right. And YouTube and TikTok world over there. YouTube and Twitter world. Let me see what y'all. Oh man, y'all been kind of going in. Marcus Sanders, aka Tariq Nasheed. Yeah, 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 yeah. So a lot of y'all going in about Tariq and Marcus Sanders ass. So let's prove his ass wrong. Let me just get out the way and quit clowning so I can prove his ass wrong for y'all. So okay, Negro cloth. Now it sounds like it should come from the South. The way that it sounds like it's going, it says it's a coarse, durable, and inexpensive fabric, typically cotton, wool, or a blend manufactured. Notice y'all said wool. That's funny because they said this is going to manufacture specifically for clothing enslaved people in the American South and Caribbeans during the 18th, 1700s. I messed it up on my video, and 19th, 1800 centuries. Often called slave cloth or plantation cloth, it was mass produced in New England and Europe or made on plantations and was intentionally designed for that comfort. Now, if you were to read that and you had the brain of Tariq Nasheed, you would go ahead and take that and be like, oh, well, that means that Negroes in the South created denim cloth, that Negro cloth. That ain't what it says. That's not the word created and invented is not in there. Let's find it. If you were to Google, did Black American slaves create denim? No. Black American slaves didn't create denim, but their labor and knowledge were fundamental to the early production of it. Blah, 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 blah. Maybe you need to ask more than one question, Mr. Nasheed, to the Google gods, where you get your. Well, he probably don't even get his answers from Google. He probably gets his answers from the YT folks that make these documentaries that I showed y'all yesterday. The documentary that eventually contributed it from slavery to Africa. Now, if If I didn't find anything that had contributed it from slavery to Africa, I would still be on this. But finding that on a major production, which I might show it today, since some people may not have seen it. Finding that on a major production already shows that it's already out there. A major talking point is out there, and it just needs other people to help you connect that dots. Tariq would be that person to help you connect that dots, because Tariq is the person that already got you thinking everything starts in slavery. So by the time you go and look up Negro cloth and you see this documentary, it goes from Negro slavery to Africans. You're like, well, damn, yeah, I guess, Africans did do it. But when you keep looking into it, we got to see this Negro cloth, because, yeah, it says Negro cloth, but is that African Negroes? Let's keep going. Denim is a durable, rugged cotton twill fabric characterized by a diagonal ribbon pattern created by weaving indigo dyed warp threads over white or undyed wet threads. Or, hold on. I got to do my little thing. Originating in Thames. Do it better than that. Originating in Names, France. It originated in France, but it's called Negro cloth. Do I stop my research here? No, but I'll tell you what, though. What makes more sense now is why it says just imported. You import something from somewhere else. You export things you make and create. I would not have found this had the ancestors not sent it to me. I wasn't looking for it. I typed the word Negro and Indian so I can find from the and I put a very specific window. I want y'all to know how the ancestors really said, nigga, here you go on a platter with this info. I did this as I'm trying to find this is my search right here. Actually, here it is. This is my search right here. I said I need to find South Carolina papers about the word. They have the word Negro and Indian between 1730 to 1748. That is very narrow. It's needle in a haystack shit. That's why I say the ancestors is on my side and not you, bitch. Nobody listens to you. Nobody knows who you are. They gonna know, bitch. And notice when I started going down, that was the newspaper that I was looking for. First one that I was looking for came up. I could have stopped there. I could have clicked and said, damn, I found the right one right there. But your boy scrolled down. What's the next one? Because these are duplicates. These are duplicates of that one. What's the next one? Just imported Negro cloth. I could have easily not even seen that. This, you can hardly even see the whole cloth. But your boy is too observant. What y'all been saying over here? Is that blue Negro cloth? Are y'all going back and forth? From Africa. All right, y'all going back and forth, so I don't want to get in on that. Y'all might, I might get caught up. All right, so I found what I was looking for, which is this paper right here, and we're gonna go over this today as well. But I was also led to the answer from something from yesterday by the ancestors. Now, what am I getting to? Now we got to connect the dots, because we know now we have a cloth material imported from Europe called Negro cloth. Well before it's like 1732 when this newspaper's out, which means it likely had been going on for a little bit prior to that. This wouldn't, yeah, it's slavery times. Don't get me wrong, there is slavery, but there's multiple types of slavery. If you don't know the history, I only know the history right now. Like this nigga be like, you don't know history. I only know the history of this area now because I've been researching heavily on the Yamasee. Yamasee War was 1715. the major war. I've been studying prior 1715 about the Yamase's heavy, really 1492 till 1715, and a little bit after so far. So what I'm getting to is 1732 is these newspapers where they're importing the cloth. So I already have my head wrapped around who's in South Carolina area or up the coast north or south of it, 1732. Well, if you have done any of the history on it with these Yamasi books, and I'll show y'all the type of books. All these yellow things, really, that's a lot of the books I've been reading about the Yamasi. But let's see. Like some of these books too, you can't even easily find Yamasi information. But like you can't just control F and find type the word Yamasi because the S's are long S's. And so now you got to go look all throughout these books to try to find information about these Yamasis. Once you get, especially to a lot of these older books. Hell, what am I? There's something in particular I'm looking for. And again, I can't just control F and type something because in my head, I really can't even think of another word that's on it. You know what it might be before all this. No, it's down here. I just must not be seeing it. Hold up. You know what? I got a Yamasi folder. So look at all these things about it. I mean, all of these are Yamasi receipts. This is one book. This is William Bartram's travels through South Carolina in 1794. But I need, I definitely went back prior to that. This one is a relation of the invasion of Alabama, and no, the relation and invasion of the conquest of Florida. Because prior to South Carolina, it was called Florida or Chicora. So you got to look for books on Florida, books on Chicora, and there's other things in here. The thing that I was really wanting to show, I mean, you can see that the Yamasis, whatever. But there was, so you got to know the type of Indians that was here. You got to know the things that was going on, and you got to know all the foreign people that was here. Now I'm gonna jump to something quick that can easily show you some foreign Negroes that was here. It's called the Book of Negroes. Quit playing with me. What are you doing? Right here. The Book of Negroes. I ain't gonna go. So in the National Archive.gov, I had found this long ago on some random. All it's like everything be connected. The Book of Negroes, and this is the inspection book of Negroes. Now, when you go in that book, you'll find names. This is the actual book, the inspection roll Negroes book. So there's no mistake what the hell they're talking about. They're talking about Negroes. Now, what time frame are they talking about these Negroes in? They're talking about the time frame. When you Google it, you can also see it on the National Archives, but it says in 1783. Remember, I just showed you a newspaper about the Negro cloth being imported here in 1732. So in 1783, a historical document listing over 3,000 Black loyalists, formerly enslaved people. Never believe that when you see it without hard proof. Never. But who were evacuated by British forces from New York to Nova Scotia, London, Germany, and after the American Revolution. After 1776, the American Revolution shit area, in 1783, they started evacuating over 3,000 Negroes. Now, they could be Negroes from our land, right? Already, and they calling them something else, or They want you to believe that they're African slave black loyalists. This is what they want you to believe. They were Africans picked up by the French, brought here as slaves, and they worked with them on their farms until the French had skirmishes with the U.S. or the English or the the British, and and then when they lost that skirmish, that the French said, "Hey, we're gonna take our slaves with us. We're gonna free them because we're so happy they fought with us," which is weird, and we're gonna let them travel with us back to these other countries as we evacuate this landmass. None of it really ever made sense to me, you know. First of all, and then I also got I found like another paper from, I don't know what to type in to even find it. I could probably type in George Washington and whatever, but George Washington had a paper that he wrote talk about evacuating a bunch of niggas too. But you got to just think about it. All these niggas here now. Again, we in the American Indian community know they were evacuating a lot of us, but that doesn't negate there was a bunch of other Negroes here, other Negroes that were not African, is what I'm getting to. When they say that the Negro cloth was imported in 1732, and you also see that denim says that it originates in France, wherever the hell I just had that damn receipt, originating in Names, France. Now you got to think, are the French or somebody from there, are they Negroes? Well, I just showed you the book of Negroes that are Black Britons. They literally call them in some things Black Britons that were here, and they're Britain Britain loyalists. Well, yeah. I want to say they were Britain loyalists. Yeah. British loyalists, Britain loyalists. Which is, was it Britain? I be getting confused sometimes with the goddamn. I think they're British loyalists. I think. Hold on, let me see. We just saw that. What you call it? Then it really makes me wonder who the hell, how they lose the war, who the hell they lose the war to. 'Cause now I just thought about something. Let me find it. Where the hell did it go? Oh, so the Book of Negroes, Black loyalists formerly enslaved who were evacuated by British forces. Who were they fighting with? I forgot who they were fighting with. I want to say it was the French. It might have been the French, or it might have been the it doesn't make sense that they would be, well, no, because I heard them say that these were Black Britons somewhere, or Britons. Where did I see that? Indentured individuals seeking refuge. I'm gonna think about that, see if I can remember where I saw the document Brigadier Burns. I might try to find it. But we know that it's Black folks regardless, right? And it's even more sinister if it's telling the truth that they took slaves from here. And they want you to think they brought, because if they took slaves from here, that corroborates our story. But if they tell you they went and got some Africans and then sent the Africans from America to goddamn Nova Scotia, it just makes no sense, right? But either way, even if this doesn't prove that these people were Negroes who brought the Negro cloth, or that they were here with the Negro cloth, I can even show you this. Oh, yeah, it's right here. That if who forgot that Sierra Leone was founded in 1787 as a settlement for free slaves and Black Britons. So basically, what I need you to understand is if you don't believe that there were Black Britons that were Negroes in Europe, where denim cloth called Negro cloth comes from, then you'll never associate the two together. You'll still think Negro cloth must mean either African or some slavery shit. And the whole history is just warped. Whole game of telephone just fucked up. My bad, y'all. I ain't hadn't been looking down. So and if you needed another We got the Book of Negroes telling you there was over 3,000 Negroes on this landmass from somewhere. We got the Sierra Leone letting you know, hey, there was some Black Britons over here that we was expelling. But let me give you a third thing of the Christopher Columbus's journal saying, hey, let me give him a little pointer. Saying, hey, given the end of the war, whatever, given the Highness, whatever, in 1492, after your Highness had given an end to the war with the Moors who reigned in Europe. Okay? The Moors who reigned in Europe. And if you don't believe Moor meant black, because people be on that shit too. Yeah, don't get me wrong, it could have meant bloodline. I don't negate that either. But in dictionaries from back in the day, you can easily find where to say. Also thought it was funny. I found that mer amour. I thought that was funny. That's in the news in the old dictionaries, 1898. But let me find more. More. Let me. Whoops. Come on now. More. A marsh, a sin, a bog, a tract of low and watery grounds, or a Negro, a blackamoor. Okay. What's up, Native Son? Seeing you down there. What up, everybody coming up in here? A Negro, a blackamoor. So when I see Negro cloth, it can mean more cloth. When I see Book of Negroes, Book of Moors. When it says Granada was felled by the Moors, when the Moors reigned in Europe, when Negroes reigned in Europe. Hey, see how that worked? Now Negro cloth originating from France seems a lot more logical. And when they got here, they got some indigo. Completely tearing up his talking point. Because he says we don't know history. Do you know how many things I just had to show? You know how many things I get my little finger in there. You know how many things I just had to show in order to really go into trying to prove this? Do you know how much research this was? I make it look easy because I sit around smoking all day and I'm just chiefing throughout the years I do it. Make it look fly. But it definitely takes more time than a Google search or a documentary for anything from the past. If you're talking about something that happened like in 2009, it still takes more. Because even when you watch a documentary, you need to be looking up the news episodes and news articles about it to make sure it's telling you the truth. See if you can find some .gov sources, if it's something major that a .gov source would even do. Look at some .edu sources. Look at other major news platforms who are on the alternative views of that particular topic. And if they're talking about the same topic, see if they're saying the same thing. If it's about a story that shouldn't have any bias, like a man that got unalived on 59th Street through a robbery or something, that should be told synonymously throughout all channels. You might have a couple of small things that change, but when you go into like a history about something or an investigative story about something, maybe they're investigating into why so-called black people in the United States get turned down for certain loans or something. Well, you still need to do a little bit more research to corroborate that. You still shouldn't accept that, like, just because you're a Negro, a black person, so-called, an Indian, for sure, but just because they predicate something to you and it seems like it's something that really it could be playing on you. These Democrats will make up horrible stats just to get you to vote. Oh man, did y'all see the stats? They're about to get rid of X, Y, and Z. Oh, who did I just see? Fucking weird ass, fat ass Roland Martin. I saw him. He was talking about he was hitting the table. They are gonna be, if this goes down, they're gonna lose half of the black caucus and blah blah blah. And this is They get very excited, and you in your head, oh my God, they're gonna lose half the back clock. Oh shit, I gotta go vote. You don't even know what the Black Caucus does. Most of y'all, they can't even really hardly show us any of the good shit they does that's tangible within our community. They're not helping us advocate for our historic research. They're not advocating for genealogical funding for our folks. They're not advocating for restoration of our land patents. They're not advocating for, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things they're not doing. So let me just make sure I be going in. I'll be like, okay, where was I gonna go with that? So for the most part, let's just recap. Make sure I didn't. Denim cloth is not a Black American slavery thing. The only thing slavery about it is they put it on the children that they forcibly. No, don't want to say forcibly. Let me not say that, because that'll get your mind thinking something differently. That they tricked into getting baptized in order to get payments up front for their service as workers over quite a bit, at least their apprenticeship, not their entire lifetime, their apprenticeship. The slaves that were slaves for life, see, they're conflating things. They're conflating things. And I'm also thinking about this as they're conflating things. They want you all to believe everybody was slaves. They want you to believe these kids were slaves. But the real slaves, who were like slaves for life, where the baby followed the belly of the slave, were criminals. We'll get into that. I just thought about it. Criminals of any color, any race, whatever ethnicity, whatever you want to use. We'll pull up the Harrison's Law and we'll see that. We'll see it in the newspapers where they were afraid that a Negro would buy a white girl and beat her if she didn't do what she was supposed to on his plantation. But you got to think, there were slaves, just like now. 13th Amendment abolishes slavery except for criminal justice, right? That was the same thing. Because what is the Emancipation Proclamation? It's all coming to me now. Because you don't emancipate a slave, you manumit a slave. Manumissions is the process to release a slave. Also, I want to say there's another word for it too. Manumissions. I think it's manumissions. I think that might be the only one. The other thing, you manumit a slave. You emancipate a minor under guardianship of somebody. The Emancipation Proclamation released all of the children who were forced into apprenticeships under guardians. It didn't free no slaves. You manumit a slave. You know what the gravity of that means? Which is why many of you are not finding a lot of slaves in your documents. As I'm going through this in my head, I didn't find a slave. I ain't got that many slaves. Because either your people were emancipated, so they wouldn't have slavery paperwork, or they have slavery paperwork based upon being under somebody's guardianship. Now, when you see the slaves tick on a paper that might have had your person on it, if you find it on a slave schedule, you have to question what was their age. If their age was between 8 years old and 22, 21, 22, they were emancipated youths. I can't say that word. Youths, kids, children, people emancipated from the guardianship of an apprenticeship, not a slavery situation. If your people were of an older age listed as a slave, it's possible that they could have been in jail, harshly done that way. But then you got to think about the other sinister in betweens, because we got newspapers of our people being Indians being kidnapped and put into slavery. I also got documents, of course, of us being over policed and put into slavery as well. Us being forced to show our papers. Like if you were free in Virginia and then you went to go visit in Louisiana, for instance, when they moved out there finally after the westward expansion, um, and they saw you running around and you showed your Virginia paperwork, they'd be like, well, where your Louisiana paperwork? And you'd be like, nigga, I didn't know I needed Louisiana paperwork. Well, nigga, we're going to have to take you in because we can't have you out here running around. And they put ads in the paper. And if you start accruing jail fees, and I've got these same ads. I'm thinking of this on the fly. I don't want to have to go try to look for these things because I have these things. I have these like newspaper clips from this shit. I have to get all this together though in a folder. But you'd be so if you didn't pay them jail fees or somebody didn't come by you and get you out over time, they would put you up in a sheriff's cell, which I have sheriff cells, which they differentiated who was an American Negro, who was a Creole Negro, and an African Negro. They knew the difference, and there was only a few Africans. Um, but you would have to find if your person was if he was a slave after a certain age, it would have been he might have been incarcerated. And then you have the whole other situation of kidnapping, over policing, all the stuff we somewhat deal with today. Is it that much different from today? Over policing, show your documents, jail fees. Jail fees if you run too many red lights and keep getting pulled over and not pay those tickets, and see what happened with them jail fees. You'll be doing involuntary servitude, slavery. Unless you want to go in there and just sleep all day and eat Roman noodles and not make no money for commissary. But then they're gonna make some money off you somehow because the state's getting that money, giving them money for it. So they're gonna make money off you somehow. Ain't that a bitch? So yeah, emancipation comes from what we see on my screen right here. Child forced apprenticeships. I don't want to say forced, I want to say um I'll say force because force sounds like somebody's using force, but the force that was used was the law. The force that lawful, whatever. But it was like they could call the cops on you if you ran away. Now, when you hear about so many runaways, you can see why they was taking chances. They was kids. You don't think a kid's gonna run away from a motherfucker that keep trying to tell him what to do? Nigga, I'm out. Fuck you. I'm young. I got a whole life ahead of me, nigga. I'm about to try to figure this out. So I hope I've brought a lot of light to that situation, even just through this whole Negro cloth thing, even though we was going to get to that. We're getting to this topic. We're about to pivot to that topic about the schoolmasters from what we was talking about yesterday. But as of right now, Tariq is completely debunked. Neither Negro cloth came from Africa or, I mean, American slavery, and neither did indigo. In fact, now you all can go out and say Negro cloth came from Negroes of Europe, which are Negroes from America. Some people may say, well, that's still African Negroes. That's if you want to believe that. I ain't here to try to go into that yet. At one point, I'll do a deep dive in that history over there. And once I'm done with my American shit, and that's gonna take some time. But once I'm done with the American shit, at some point I'll go deep diving in these other countries, and I'll be able to tell you for real. There's already some people out here that can tell you though. Some people are already in our community that's done the work. So I'm just saying I don't have the receipts, but yeah, I do know that they come from over here. So Negro cloth from over here, indigo over here. They had a little bit over there. All right, so let's go 8:38. Let me double check my timing real quick, y'all. I think I don't have something until a bit later. Yesterday I was wrong. I thought I had something, and then it was for a whole different date. The time was right in my head. The day was not right. Like, okay. 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 So now we're gonna go back to the topic from yesterday. And we're really just gonna read this newspaper article. Not this one. Now that's the one I was showing y'all just imported, but this is around the same time. Again, this is 1732. And think about that. I had found this article, and this article is from 1743. 1743. And I was looking at that shit almost a year ago when I found this document, and I saved it. I mean, it had the word Negro and Indian, talking about Negro and Indian slaves. But that's the reason why I saved it. I was like, Negro and Indian slaves together. Why would they do that? But now think about it as we go into this. Now we can think about time frames. I'm like, I took the screenshot. Okay, here we go. Now we can think about time frames. So it talks about Negro and Indian slaves right there, right? Now we know at this time frame that there are both Negroes from Europe here, and if you want to accept the two and few Africans that were listed that possibly came from we'll say this, the Span. So there's so many things to think about. Okay. So who all is here? Those loyalists that I was talking to you, the book of Negroes, those people are here. Those people came from certain parts of Europe, like they came from France or Britain. I'm sorry. Whereas the Spaniards was here, and they brought some Moors also with them. There's the Archinega expedition, and I can pull up a video about that, but I just don't want to lose my spot. So there would be some Negroes from Spain. There would be some Negroes also here from the Britain area and maybe even France. There's possibly one or two, a few Negroes from Africa. I've read very, very few. Meaning I've seen like during this time frame, 1700s, I've seen a few imported from Africa um, newspaper clippings, and I'll go by some of the documents I've seen too and say there was a few. I still don't believe them. They could have been Afrikaners. Whole nother story. But okay. If we give the information I've seen its credit, you've got a slew of Negroes here. But then you're putting them together with these Indian slaves. There were Indian slaves. We've seen that. I can go through the Yamasi books. I'll show you one newspaper document that'll corroborate this from Who Watch Travels uh, about the Indian slaves. But and there's so many of them. There's so many documents about it. But why would they put them together? Now, this is when they try to say the whole bullshit ass ethnogenesis. Unless it's in your line, I wouldn't claim it in your genealogy paperwork. And even if it's in your tree, it was likely mixed out with Indians. We were full of Indians over here, millions of us. Don't let them fool you. So even if one of these Book of Negro niggas, even if one of these Sierra Leone escaped Black Britain niggas somehow made it this way, even they didn't say that, but I'm just saying, even if one of these Moors from Grenada or some shit made it this way, you got to find them. You can't just say we all mix. We just mixing like crazy. They put them on the plantation. How could we not fuck? Like, come on, man. You know how modest some people might have been back then compared to now? And actually, when we were just living amongst Indians, it was a little bit different. People wasn't so modest. That's a whole nother story. But okay, so let's keep going. Let's read this in its entirety. Starting up here. The Society for Propagating the Gospel in Foreign Parts. What are foreign parts? Where we're talking about this newspaper is in I don't have it right here, but this newspaper is from South Carolina at that time, 1743, I think is what this is, meaning they're only in the colonies. So what would be foreign to the colonies would be Indian territory. So the Society for Propagating the Gospel in Indian territory. Who else is there? What, they're gonna go to Spanish territory and propagate the gospel? The Spanish is out here trying to propagate the Catholics, Catholicism. I mean, who else you think they're trying to propagate it to? So in foreign parts, that reads to the Indian territory. Having had long much at heart the propagation of the same among the Negro and Indian slaves. What is that saying? Having had long and much at heart the propagation of the same among the Negro and Indian slaves. What that reads like to me is the people here, the subscriber that's wrote this, and the people in this area that do have some slaves, says that they've already been trying to done this with their slaves, and that they're trying to figure out a way to do this in Indian territory. What is this? Let's keep going. In His Majesty's colonies in America. So that finishes that sentence. So let me say it all together as or almost finishes the sentence. That's a comma. But it says, having had much at heart the propagation of the same among the Negro slaves and Indians in His Majesty's colonies in America. Didn't I just say? They're talking about the colonies, which means that's Indian territory, like I said. Have lately resolved on the following method of purchasing this good end. Visa. So what do they mean, purchasing this good end? They've resolved on the following method to purchasing this good end. They figured out a way to pay for it. They say, so let me reread this to you. How can we propagate the Bible to these niggas over there in Indian territory like we've been doing in the colonies to the niggas and Indians here? And I figured out a way we could pay for it. That's what they said. Okay, let's keep going. They said, this is how we about to pay for it. We'll pay for it by purchasing some country-born Negroes, causing them to be instructed to read the Bible and in the chief principles of the Christian religion. and thenceforth employing them under the direction of proper trustees as schoolmasters. I wanted to read through it and I highlighted each to break it down. Okay. Appreciate y'all coming up in the chat. My bad, I'm over here cooking. I don't know why my leg is feeling like this in this damn chair. Maybe I need a new chair. Cheap ass Amazon chairs. It wasn't cheap. I got it. It was nice and black and gold looking, but then when I got that bitch is cheap. Goddamn fake ass leather. Goddamn leather. It's so thin. Anyways, okay. By purchasing that blue part, by purchasing some country born Negroes. Well, who are they talking about? Which Negroes are they talking about? Indians. They can't be talking about the Indians because they've already separated that the Indians and Negroes are different, even though we look the same to a degree, right? A country born Negro would be a Negro from another country who's born in your country. That means a couple of things. One, that helps to corroborate the whole denim thing. When I said that there's niggas over there, they're employing a country born nigga who was born and who have been living amongst you. How do niggas act when they live amongst you? They act like they're you. They pick up your mannerisms like the Africans do. They pick up all your habits and shit like some other folks do. And you start getting confused. Man, that's my folks. That's my folks. I know he from France. But he grew up with me over here, man. Niggas will say that shit today. Man, that nigga been here, nigga been around. Nigga grew up with me from the gym, from the gut. I don't mean that nigga give a fuck about that. You may care about that. That don't mean he give a fuck about that. They still do this in political parties today. They purchase or hire a country-born Negro or immigrant to have them instruct you in certain things. Or, you get what I'm saying? Y'all get what I'm saying. Nothing new under the sun. Let me make sure also real quick that my audio is good for my YouTube folks. Indians, they can't be talking about the Indians because... Okay, yeah, we got it. So they're purchasing some country-born Negro, not some country-born Indian. Okay, let's go next. And to me, that tells me that they knew that, hey, let's put these Indians and niggas together because they similarly look somewhat alike. And then we're going to purchase one of those others, one of the ones that grows up with them. And we're going to have him act like he's them and instruct y'all, right? Causing them to be instructed to be to read the Bible and the chief principles of the Christian religion, and thenceforth employing them. Now, the Christian religion, I probably could type it in and find out. I just don't want to lose my spot. But I got old books I had to translate, where it talks about we were the HEBREWs, we were the JEWs, or HEBREW is a language. We spoke that. We were the JEWs or the whatever, right? We did these practices. And I'm only saying that to say, then they said they had to figure out a way to give us Christianity. That's what made me think about, We was already a religious people doing the Old Testament shit, and you had to come and bring the New Testament shit. Tells me there's a difference. And you know that there's a difference if you were to look at the TV and stuff that goes on in the fake landmass that has the name Israel today. They'll be over there spitting on Christians, literally, all the time, and cussing them out when they pass them by. They're, even though they're not the real ones, they're still trying to play around with the reality of it, like the history of it. They're trying to play the part and pretend to be it, so much so that they play it out in real life. Same thing with the niggas doing powwows today. They are no different from the niggas doing powwows, claiming to be us. Everybody's claiming to be us. People in the hip hop world is claiming to be you. We see it on a no, we see it on a non-historical, non-economic, whatever, non-important somewhat level. It's important. Hip hop is important, but you see it happen on even the most trivial of things. Okay, let's keep going. The green part right here says, right here says, under the direction of proper trustees. We're gonna hire a nigga who's born in America from someplace else, instruct him and hire him under our instruction. Somebody at the top. Yeah. Same thing happens in the church. I remember my people was telling me, accidentally slipped up and told me that they was paying $10,000 a month for the East Zion district. She was like, I was talking shit about how much the tithes just get wasted. All that money coming in, y'all could be doing something. They was like, you don't understand. We got these payments, we got these payments, we got the $10,000 a month East Zion district payment. I said, what? What's the East Zion district? I knew it was just an organization in Oklahoma City of pastors that get together. That's fine. Organizations of pastors getting together talking about the Bible and jerking each other off. Okay, do what you do. It costs you $10,000 a month to do that? Of the people's money? Who's getting that money? That's a membership fee. Who's getting that membership fee of the people's money? The trustees. The same trustees that tell them what to teach you in the Bible. Yes, Pastor Brown, you will be teaching from these type. We or they don't even say it like that. They probably be more on a more modern term now. The bulletin for scriptures for the yearly scriptures is out this week. Make sure you review that so that way you can disseminate that amongst your flock. There you go. Pass it down. Okay, let's keep going. Let me. I'm gonna have to get down here like that. Hold on, let me zoom in. I thought I got the tail end of that on the next one. Oops, can't see it as good, but okay, here we go. I'm gonna have to look this way because my fingers got to hold it. Damn it! That's why I took the screenshot so I wouldn't have to do that. For the same instruction of all such Negro, so employ them as schoolmasters. Let's get back to that because you always got to. I get you my. So employ them as schoolmasters for the same instructions of all such Negro or Indian children as may be born in the said colonies. Okay. In pursuance of this method, the said society has purchased about 15 months ago. Let's go back. Guess I didn't get the damn. Let's go here with it. I'll do that. All right. Okay. And pursuant to this method, the said society have already purchased about 15 months ago um, two such Negroes for the said service in this province and have since appropriated one of them for the same in Charlestown. Why is that important? Because this is just after the Yamasee War. What happened after the Yamasee War? Some Yamasees became slaves. So these Indians will be Yamasees, these Indian slaves. In some cases, will be Yamasees. They could be slaves that the Yamasee had sold to these folks. There were some people being sold from other tribes. The Yamasees did participate, just like other tribes, in selling other Indians. Sounds horrible, right? But at the time, they didn't know what was going down, you know. And at the time, it's kind of like slavery is a practice that you do for punishing people, or if it's at the end of some war. So let's say if there's somebody in your tribe that's really doing bad shit or whatever, you want to punish them. Before the times of day, it would be slavery. You'd put that nigga to work and watch his ass. That's basically what it is. Put that nigga to work and watch his ass every day. So that nigga don't create no other problems and hopefully reform him, teach him the ways. That's what you hope. Slavery was supposed to be that. In fact, this last slavery, where we were on, where not we, well, some people, if they were on plantations, that's why I said it was incarceration, is because that was prior to industrial sized prison complexes that we have today, which meant before you had these big giant buildings that would hold a bunch of inmates, which they did assume some of our ancient buildings and do that and hold inmates as asylums, but that's a whole nother thing. Um, Besides that, you would sell those persons to people as slaves and they can put them on their plantation as workers. They still do it today. When you get arrested, they sell your ass to Victoria's Secret, nigga. They sell your ass to the people that make the school lunches, nigga. They sell your ass to GM while you making wiring harnesses, nigga. It's the same shit. It's the same shit. But this right, I lost my train of thought. Let's keep going. So Charlestown, right? Who will be sufficiently qualified for it in a few months, and to whom all the Negro and Indian children of this parish may be sent for education without any charge to the masters or owners. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. He said, keep cooking. Appreciate that. What up, Big C? What up, Itwa Mingo? Wamba Mingo? I keep saying the wrong part wrong. What up, CR the Great? What up, Trip? Uh, and Sister Moon, I think I seen you up there. Other people, I seen a bunch of people. Sorry, y'all. Y'all know I'm over here cooking. Uh, so they're still talking about Indian children, right? And educating Indian children in the Bible, propagating the Bible, but they're talking about Indian children. Now, did they say Indian children prior to this? Let me see, or just Indian slaves? Yeah, they did say country born young Negroes, but yeah, instructing such Indian children. Okay, there's the children part. Negro Indian children. Notice how they pivoted to it. They said slaves, they're propagating things through the slaves already up here. They're not talking about these being children, could be some, but they're saying, hey, we've already been propagating the Bible throughout our colonies through these slaves. We got to figure out a way to get this shit to the children through training some country born Negroes. And then you get down here and they're talking about This is, and the reason why I said that, said, and to whom all Negro and Indian children of this parish may be sent to education without any charge to the masters or owners. Isn't that free public school? No charge to the owners, no charge to your masters. Where's the money coming from? Today we'll say tax money. Where are they getting the money from? Well, this is what we talked about yesterday. Annuity backed, if I'm saying it right, loans backed from baptismal records and apprenticeships. They baptize you, teaching you the gospel to the children, get you baptized, and put you through an apprenticeship after taking your baptismal certificate, which some of y'all find in your genealogy. I haven't found a baptismal record, to be honest, me personally, but they say they're out there. By taking your baptismal record down to the office and getting a loan on you. Isn't that very similar to what they say the straw man is? Instead of a baptismal record, it's a birth certificate that they take and get a loan maybe backed off of you. Now, I've always heard this stuff, the Moors be going in on it. Sounds craziness. I didn't think it was completely crazy. Sometimes I did. But what I do believe is crazy is that they feel like they're telling people how to do something and they're not showing us how to do it. And I ain't never seen no super rich ass nigga, Moor with a fez on. I ain't never seen a nigga pull up in the goddamn Benz with a fez like that. Nigga pull up in a 98 Honda Civic and want to tell you about how this nigga know law. You couldn't use this shit to get out that Honda Civic? Anyways. So, but either way, it's I can see it. You gotta switch the process. So these people are saying that they're going to be instructing these people's kids for no charge to these children, and they can go to school, making you probably doing some school campaigns. Hey, we can bring them to school, and now your Indian folks, unbeknownst to them, it's not their fault. Now they're signing you up for these schools. I just want my kid to get that education. I just always said if my child had the education that I didn't get, and I understand. I'm not making fun of our folks. It's not their fault. They didn't know they was getting duped. Just like we didn't know we was getting duped when we got baptized. I got baptized. If I knew I was going to be forced into some apprenticeship under my baptism, nigga, shit. But really, you was already for us. They putting us through regular school. Similar thing. We're just not doing work for school. We're not working in school. But you are learning to become a worker. Modern worker. Back then, they taught you all those other trades. Oh man, back in the school days, they used to teach us woodwork and metalwork and this and that and the third. Now they teach us all this administrative shit. Shit's changed. They got to change it. They got to teach you something else, nigga. They sent all that overseas before you knew it. They got to teach your youth to be on them phones. Wild, ain't it? Wild, ain't it? Real wild. I'm starting to see through all the plans. Let's keep going on this document. It says, but whereas hold on, let me give him a little whatever. But whereas the said society have no other fund to depend on the carrying on this good work by under the blessing of God. Okay, let me read it again. But whereas the said society have no other fund to depend on carrying out this good work, but under the blessing of God, the voluntary contributions of pious and well-disposed Christians. So what is this saying? Basically saying, hey, if you want to do this work that we was just reading above to propagate the Bible to young Negro and Indian slaves, but you don't have the money for it, uh we should be looking, basically it's going to be talking about how we should be looking to the voluntary contributions of well disposed and pious, or pious, whatever that means, Christians. Let's let the tithe money pay for it. It really makes you feel something different about that educational loan. I mean, not loan, that education money I got as a, like, as a when I went to college. Some of y'all, if you was in a Baptist church, if you do graduate, they'll give you like $500 or something, a couple nibbles of change. But they saying, hey, basically make the church members pay for this shit. Okay, let's keep going. They are not without hopes of the charitable assistance. They are not without hopes of the charitable assistance of some such in these parts toward it, but more especially as they have appropriated one of their said Negroes for the service of Charlestown. They hope that the inhabitants there of will that they oh my bad that they hope that the inhabitants thereof will voluntarily contribute so small a sum of $400, basically 400 pounds. I know it's different, but whatever. For building a convenient school. Now it went from colonists coming here as missionaries, establishing missions that they called spiritual places, religious places, not spiritual, religious. Then eventually that morphs into schooling, or what we see today as Sunday school, which is something now small and trivial as just learning books of the Bible and the story of David and Goliath and bullshit like that, right? But that used to be the real school. Now they've transformed that to school. Watch this. Separation of church and state. Here you thought it was to stop niggas praying in school. I just thought about that. Here we thought it was to stop niggas from praying in school and to respect the values of other people's religions. It was literally separating out church and state to erase the past of the horrible apprenticeships of slavery, backed by baptismal records through the school system for forced labor of our children. Separation of church and state. But you see the steps. Let's keep reading. Which the subscriber contends, which the subscriber consents, may be done in a corner piece of the glebe land near the parsonages. Basically, they just said, let's build a school, and you can build a school over there by the such and such. This building is to be finished within 3 to 4 months from this day, and whoever shall be let's go to the next one. Whoever shall be, let me give him a little pointer. It's wild. Wow. This building should be 3 or 4 months from this day, we're gonna get some more, a little bit more wilder from this date. And whoever shall be disposed in their hearts to contribute toward it may pay their contributions into the hands of either the church wardens of Charlestown's or the subscriber. School to prison pipeline, anybody? And I know Rashad knows about the warden. I know you broken that word down. Hella down. Church wardens. School church wardens. You a ward of the state. You a ward of the church. You was a ward of the church before you was a ward of the state. Possibly. So that what I immediately thought. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's real. And if anybody has requested up, I don't even know how to see it. So if anybody requested up, just probably you're gonna have to probably get my attention somehow. Because I'm on this TikTok live studio. I don't know how it shows up over here. Typically, I think it would pop some up, but I also don't be on the only screen that I typically have up on the live studio in front of me is the chat screen. It's like a so I can see y'all's chats, and it's got like a transparency behind it. And typically I have my other window up so I can see everybody else plus control the live stream. So I don't know if it's going to show me somebody in my chat window trying to request up if anybody does, or if it's going to show in the live stream studio. What we might do toward the end of this, when I get done, I'm almost done cooking it up and filleting up this breakfast. uh I might have somebody, if you want to request up, have some questions, talk for a little bit. Also, so that way I can see how the hell this works. But okay. Said church was on the next field. The church was the first chess move. Yep. Ward of the plantation. So let's keep going, y'all. Let's read the rest. Church wardens, y'all. Church wardens. Teach your spirituality, give up earning your wage. Yeah, teach your spirituality, believe in you. Yep. Great grand Zal. What's happening? All right. Church wardens of Charleston. I need to I'm gonna try that real quick. We're gonna search the phrase church warden. I'm just curious. I'm never would have thought that phrase up. Fucking church warden. There's a lot of matches. Let's sort it to the oldest. 1720. The humble address of the rector or something, church wardens and vestry of the Trinity Church of the City of New York in America. We the rector, church wardens, and vestry of Trinity Church do appear before your excellency with sincere joy to congratulate your safe and happy arrival to your government of New York, assuring your excellency that we in our respective stations will evidence our affection and duty to his majesty's person and government and to your excellency appointed over rule of us. I'm assuming church wardens are pastors. If they're not the pastors, they're the people above the pastors, the trustees of the young Negroes they were hired to be the pastors. That's probably who it is, actually. That's likely who it is. Because they're the ones probably they're the ones likely hiring some country born Negroes or facilitating it. Because as Travis told us, there were people with big money pockets, corporations that was in had their hands in on this. But I am very curious as to all this shit that I'm gonna find under this motherfucking term, church warden. I thought maybe I'd find a few things, but like y'all see what I'm doing right now? I open up all these windows. This is how I do in the mornings. I literally wake up, I open up hella windows, spark up, read. Now, church warden. Now that one, okay. Monday last, Mr. John McKenzie and Mr. John Lawrence were chosen church warden of the year ensuing. Lawrence? This is why I do this. This is why I do this because I pay attention to so much everything. Let me show you. It's there too. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. Notice all the shit I got on Lawrence. Now, this is Henry Lawrence. I guarantee you they're connected. I guarantee you. Actually, no, that's John. Yeah, and it's Henry Lawrence or Austin because Austin is the other guy, and then there's Austin and Lawrence. I also want to show you the. Hold on, I'm gonna show you. Look, that fast, I found something. That fast. Damn, where is it, man? Austin or Henry Lawrence account book Yale. Right there. God damn. It's faster for me to get to it. Faster for me to just Google it sometimes, just to go then to sometimes go through my damn what you call it. I was looking at this book some time ago, y'all. I found this book because Geechees were tying. There's one Geechee dude was trying to tie himself to the slaves that came from it. Come on, man, what the hell? God damn it! Hold up. But this is known as the Austin and Lawrence account book from 1750. We're in the same time frame. This account book had an account of some slaves, very few. Okay, I want to say it was like page 56. Because all these, and it's an account book of a lot of stuff. It's not just an account book of slaves. It's an account book, period. But there's a couple of pages that talk about slaves. Couple. Like this one right here. You know I know because I've been reading it because I just sent you to the page for it. That's how much I be remembering this shit. All right. Negro slaves imported off the something brigantine James Bennett, commander from the Gambia, from Senegambia, on account of John, whatever. Now, did these people really come from there or not? I'll give it that. When I told you earlier, I'll give it that. This was the document I was saying that I was talking about. I didn't know I was going to find something that was going to circle me to this shit. But when I told you I've seen some account books as well as a few newspapers, very few, that talk about some slaves coming in from Africa written down, I'll give them credit for those. It's not that many. Okay, like this book, and I can show you a video where they talked about even these account books don't have a whole lot, but the people on here, that's the purchaser. That's supposed to be the slave. So when they say I found his name, no, you didn't find his name. The name wasn't listed on here what these slaves were. It don't even tell you that. Tell you that they came from Gambia. It doesn't tell you what they are still. Now, in our head, we assume some black folk, Negroes from Gambia. Could be Afrikaners, could be whatever. Okay, but these numbers are the numbers of either men, women, boys, girls, as you see there, and these will be the numbers associated with it. And even when you go down here to the bottom of this, that's how many was there on that ship. 53 plus 24 plus 12 plus 6. A little over 100. Not even 100. No, not even 100. Not even 100. There's one more page, is the next page that I remember seeing. And actually, I think they updated the counts. So this will be the counts. So it is over 100. It's 84. I think the other one's, I don't know what they won, 45, 35, 25, something. 23 and 16. Now, yeah, that was 53 and 24 carried over from the other page. So down here, the women is in the 30s, 30 something. It's not that many. 84 men, barely any women, some children, or whatever. Okay. So I'll give them the few, right? I'll give you that. How can I until I can debunk it by finding something that says Henry Lawrence is a bitch ass liar, and he was writing down writing down American Indians as slaves coming from the West Indies and faking the shit, which that could have been what happened too. I try to be as objective as possible on the research, but that's not a lot, right? So okay, in fact, there was more Negroes from other places, like the Book of Negroes had over 3,000 that they took off. They took off 3,000 from Europe. And here you only got like barely a little over 100 something from Africa. You know, in this and maybe in this whole book. So yeah, we're not no Africans. But going back, I got to the reason why, because now you have a think about it. You have a Lawrence who's a church warden who's tasked with likely hiring young Negroes to propagate the Bible in Indian territory, corroborating likely with his brother, who is an accountant for people who may bring in a few, or he ain't bringing in the Negroes. He accounted for somebody else bringing in those Negroes. But either way, he was dealing with slavery to a degree. And he had some young ones with him too, according to that account. I don't know the connection yet, but there's connections. Definite connections. Let's go here. On Friday last, Honorable Proprietor was pleased to the favor of church wardens, vestry, and other gentlemen of the Congregation of Church of Philadelphia. We talked about New York, they're talking about Philadelphia, with his company at a handsome entertainment for the purpose provided at the house of David Evans at the sign of the Crown in Hart Street. I can keep reading to get some context, but I'm just kind of just quickly going through some random just to see what I find real fast. To the Honorable Thomas Penn, Esquire, one of your proprietors of the province of Pennsylvania, etc., the humble address of the minister church wardens and vestry. I need to look up that word vestry of Church of Christ Church in Philadelphia. May it be pleased to honor, we humbly beg, blah, 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 blah. Christian denomination, religious, civil liberties, having protection of the religious persuasion. Let me read that real quick. We most humbly beg leave of yourselves, of ourselves, for ourselves, I'm sorry, and in the name of the whole congregation to congratulate you upon your safe, long wished for arrival to your province. We are firmly persuaded. I'm sorry. We are firmly persuaded, sir, that with respect to our religious as well as civil liberties, we shall be still happy under and share equal in your protection with those of other religious persuasions, between whom and us there subsists with pleasure we observe it, not only mutual forbearance but real friendship. We are not without good hopes that virtue and piety will revive at your pretense or presence, I'm sorry, revive at your presence and flourishing among Christians of all denominations through your influence and encouragement. There was multiple denominations in goddamn 1732 of Christianity. You'd have thought that was some new shit. Like niggas just been motherfuckers been coming up with new versions, remixing that bitch for years. Motherfuckers already had many denominations. And what is a denomination anyway? It sounds like demon, but anyway, denominations through your influence and encouragement and pleasing prospect, this which cannot fail to be highly agreeable. Which I know they got Catholicism, Christianity, whatever, right? All right, and I don't think I'm really finding anything in here. Sincerely, the health and happiness of promise. Blah, blah, blah. Let me add a word in here. It's just a little real time something real quick. The address of the church one, the excellence of America. No, that's whatever. Okay, let me read this though. I'm gonna add another word. I'm gonna add the word slave to church warden to see if I can find a little bit more. Some towards the topic I'm looking for. But it says, or any of them who are empowered by the court or assistants to commit them to the workhouse. Ooh, sometimes you just gotta give me time. Sometimes you just gotta give me time. Let's listen. And the court of assistants to desire the minister and church wardens of several parishes to order their beadles, constables, and watchmen. That's what when I saw constables and watchmen, that's what made me be like, wait a minute. To be assisting to the inhabitants in taking up all vagrant beggars, and that they also order the beadles. Gotta look that up. What the fuck? They called y'all something beadles? Some kind of police beadles or something? To publish this public notice in all the streets and lanes of their respective parishes, ringing their bells. They're talking about beggars up there too. Talking about the workhouse. I'm gonna have to read this. I'm gonna have to read this. We'll come back. Let me add the word slave in here. First, add it in with the quotations, teaching you a little game. Notice only got one match. That means when you put the quotation marks, it's looking for these three words in a close proximity together. Now I'm about to take the quotation marks off since well, let me read what that says too. I'm gonna open it, but then take the quotation marks off. Now it's gonna find those three words anywhere on the page together. Notice the matches changed a lot. It went from 1 to 364,000. Okay. Big difference. But that makes it a little bit harder sometimes because they might not be talking about the right thing, the same thing. But as you can see, we got some stuff over here talking about slave wardens. This one says church wardens. We're talking about slaves. Church wardens might be on there, but it might talk about it on another whole nother column that ain't got nothing to do with the slave. So it could be, you got and then church, warden, and slave could all be there together. It can, it can get a little a little whatever. I'm gonna open that up. That says church warden and slave all together. South Carolina. Hold up. This is what I be doing. Yeah, this is what I be doing. Inhabitants of this province may be better focused or may be better secured and provided against the insurrection. I thought I was going to say Indians. Against the insurrections of other wicked attempts or other wicked attempts of Negroes and other slaves. Negroes and other slaves. Even though we got a newspaper saying Negro and Indian slaves being put together. But okay. And we know white folks were slaves too. But okay. Negroes and other slaves. Be further enacted by the authority aforesaid that the church warden and church wardens of each respective parish and the deacons and elders reporting to the places of public worship in this province who shall be at any such church or any or other place of public worship, as aforesaid, where any person liable to beat arms as to beat arms as aforesaid shall come and resort without his arms or ammunition as aforesaid, and such church wardens and church warden. I gotta read. Y'all see I got a lot of shit to read. I gotta read this whole paper. What I'm doing is if you want to know what I do, see how I can zoom in on that all the way, and it's still I can get all the way close and still see. And notice how on this was not too bad. I think that's the whole page too. It just really depends. I'll give you an idea. Like if I was to come here and screenshot this, and I start zooming in, it's not doing too bad. But sometimes when you zoom in, basically, it's so low quality because of the screenshotting that it doesn't allow you to see everything. Sometimes it do something like that. So I go through the whole motion of saving the entire page as a JPEG in its full form, so that way I don't have to deal with that. Um, yeah. I got church warden slaves hid out in the woods to lurk. What? No slave was allowed to raise any stock, and the stock of raised was ordered to be seized and sold by the church warden. They seizing and selling shit. No way. They seizing and selling shit. I gotta save this. God the fuck damn. God damn. Did you know your pastors had this much control back in the day? I'll beat the fuck out of a pastor today. Nigga, come try to seize my shit over some tithes or whatever the fuck. Get beat the shit down, nigga. Get beat the fuck down. What'd you say? See, I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to visit his grave soon. Who you talking about? Oh, you probably talking about somebody up there. You said, is this TikTok studio? Yeah, it is. RRE. What's happening, RRE? Let me get caught up on some of y'all. They still doing it in Nigeria. I can believe it. Crew, I said, what the hell? Man, I just found an ancestor that did come to Oklahoma. He was in the Creek Nation. Oh, you say you better go visit his grave? That's what's up. That's what's up. I would like to know who it is too. Thanks for the tips for sure. All right. Beadle in a church is a ceremonial and order is a ceremonial and order keeping officer, kind of the traditional church marshal. Wow. They had the whole church involved in this, y'all. The deacons, the pastors, the announcement lady, enforcing our kids into slavery for a profit motive. Now you know why there's so many churches on every corner. You thought it was tithe money. You thought it was tithe money. Really? What else could it be? Other than the fact that you think it's just that they were so spiritual, we propagated churches all over your space. You go to the white folks area, they have one big mega church. Around you, they on every corner. Like missions. Get in here. Get this Jesus. So we can get that. And you can continue to be subjugated. And now it went from being forced to a thing that we do so religiously we won't let it go. When he said they would put us in chains so strong, mental chains so strong, stronger than iron, I think we're starting to see the clasp of that chain. The clasp was clasped together by the pastor, deacon, the East Zion district, the people above the pastor, yeah, fucking school, Sunday school folks. Now, don't get me wrong. Some of these are our family members and they didn't know. They're just playing the game. I was called by the Lord. I'll tell you who's not playing the game and they know what they're doing. Pastors. Pastors who I've said for the longest time are Masons. This is coming back so full circle from so long ago. When I first did my research on the Masons, well before this Indian stuff, I didn't know nothing about being an Indian. This is in my early 20s, 15 to 20 years ago. I remember going into my mom is the secretary at the church. She ain't playing a part in the destruction, right? She just getting a little secretary money and playing her little role, right? That's why I say some of our family members they in there, but they ain't playing the part. But who is the flock leader, who's the Mason. He'll guilt trip your ass back into that church. He ain't got to force it. He'll guilt trip your ass. But when I was I used to go there all the time to help my mom go into the offices in the back to help my mom and the pastor's computers. I'm the computer nerd, right? She was like, now during this time I'm doing my history and studying on these Masons heavy, learning about symbols and shit, right? I go to the pastor's office. So she was like, go connect his laptop back to the Wi-Fi. All right. I go in there and I'm noticing the symbols now. That's a Mason hat. That's a Mason shirt. That's the symbols that the Masons wear. And it started hitting me. But the Masons read more than just the Bible. And my main thing I focused on back then was, why do y'all read more than just the Bible, alternative Bibles, other religions, and speak about them freely amongst yourselves? But then you come to the church and you only teach the people one thing. If the other things are so important for you to learn them, how come they're not important for your people to learn them? Why do you, as a church pastor, go through ceremonies like Masons, like drinking blood out of a cup, confessing to murders and all this other stuff that you got to do, and all or whatever you got to do? The whole get on your knees, talk about Hiram Abiff, say I'm a mate, I will not reveal the secrets of whatever, all that weird shit. Are we not supposed to do that too? If you're the leader, aren't we supposed to be doing similar to what you do? We're following what you believe. I thought. I think you thought that too. But as we know, the Masons, in many cases, are a place for people to be the trustees. Who are the trustees of your pastors? The country born Negroes who they appoint over the Indian and Negro slaves? Masons. That's why all of your pastors are Masons. Most, if not all. Don't believe me? Don't ask them if they're a Mason. Ask them what fraternity they came from. Ask them what fraternity they came from. And if they're a woman, sorority. There's your answer there. Their trustees tell them what to do. Right? Don't you see fraternity members following like hell their instructions? Like your Pan Africans? Where do you think they're getting their instructions? Most of them, if not all that I've seen, seem to be fraternity boys. They're all playing a part. All the heavily mixed out chiefs of the tribes were Masons that signed the 1830 Dancing Rabbit Treaty. Albert Pike the Mason is the one that was the attorney of the tribes at that time in 1866, later on in 1866, not 1830. He helped them frame the work to write you out as an African, as well as I'm sure helped to. Well, he didn't have to help with the framework for these Warden schools and shit. That shit been going. By the time Albert Pike came here as a Mason, a lot of this system was already there. This nigga's just refining it. 1700s is when all this other shit was going on. Missions, school wardens, church wardens, apprenticeship, slavery, annuity-backed loans based upon baptismal records to put you into an apprenticeship. That was before Albert Pike's time. But when he was born, he saw it. And he figured out a way to get it changed up even more. It's crazy, y'all. Real crazy, real crazy, real crazy, real crazy. I thought yesterday was a fire live. This was pretty damn fire live as well. Pretty damn fire. See what you say. Salute, my brother. What's up, wise one? Yep, the boule. I didn't think about that. Somebody threw that in there. Big C, the boule. That would be your country-born Negroes in many cases. It's probably a mix of us and them, but in many cases, it's likely still a country-born Negro from some other. Like we may not know, but they could still be using bloodlines from people who came here long ago. And I believe sometimes, not all, but I believe sometimes the bloodline corruption follows. Like we have Gimme Five on here on TikTok. We have some of these people who are descendants of Indian agents. Gimme Five is a descendant of Mosh Tubby and goddamn Levi Colbert. Is it a coincidence that this and if you don't know who those people are, they signed away the 1830 they signed the 1830 Dense Rabbit Treaty. They signed away the land. They are the most hated people in the tribes back then. And in fact, I got letters where they were groveling to the president. Oh, Father President, help our children, our poor defenseless red Negro, not Negro, the red children were they were Negroes. They was doing all that. And this nigga comes out of nowhere in modern times as a fucking agent. You think I think that's a coincidence? That's why I chopped that nigga's head off like my ancestors did back in the day. Knowledgeably, not physically. Craziness. Craziness, y'all. Let me see this real quick. Facts, she did. It is in the military too. I'm a Navy vet, and they did wisdom shit. Mm. Well, yeah, it's definitely in the, especially the that yeah. There's a lot of top generals. A lot of your top generals, if not all, are going to be Masons, high up Masons. A lot of your political people, a lot of your politicians, Masons. A lot of your attorneys are Masons. All that. What's up, Divine Number Nine? She said opportunities have those weird hazing rituals. And you know what? Shout out to, there's a guy named Cesare. Let me see if I can find his name real quick for y'all, just to give him a quick shout out. Cesra Porter Jr. Let me do this. Maybe this might work. And I'll tell you why he's on the next level of hell. So nasty. Oily ass face. Man, I don't even know if that's gonna really show. I think if y'all would have screenshot that, you can kind of see. But Chesra D. Porter Jr. Chesra D. Porter Jr. Faith Walking Chez. Faith Walking Chez. Faith Walking Chez. Now, why do I give him credit? I don't know if I think he still does it. He's trying to take down the Masons because he was one of them. He was a high up Divine Nine, and another whatever. There's another thing above that. I think so whatever. There's two things. There's Divine Nine and something else. Some of y'all might know in that thing. Now he would run panels, and his prompt in the back basically is saying all fraternities and sororities are not on the word of Jesus. You're not following this, and if you're following this, you're following false. If you're in that shit, you've already pledged your life to a false deity through the practices and rituals that you did. And this nigga will, as you come up on his motherfucking page and you get to talking as a person trying to take up for you or whatever, he'll put out, y'all know me. I'm that type of nigga like to have something ready to pull up. Oh, is that right, nigga? What about this, nigga? What about that? He's that type of nigga. He'll pull up the practices. He's like, what's your fraternity? Oh, Q Dog, huh? Yeah. And dude sitting there, yeah. I just think Q Dog, it's all a personal thing. Yeah, I could be a Q Dog, and I can love my Jesus because my Jesus is number one, and my Q Dogs is not number one. They trying to sit there and make that excuse. And the next thing you know, this nigga pull up some shit, be like, okay, it says here that when you were this is the pledge you did during the such and such hazing thing, or not hazing, well, whatever. It says that I pledge my life wholeheartedly, blood, sweat, even if I was to unalive by a train running over me, that no word, I give all life to deity such and such. I don't know, what I'm saying? But I was just like, damn, niggas, that what it say? I'm on the other end, eyes wide. What? Is that what y'all niggas be pledging? You know what I'm saying? And then the dude sitting there stumbling over, yo, but that doesn't mean that I, Jesus is still my, nah, man, you done pledged your life to a whole nother person. How you, didn't Jesus say only one guy? Well, hold on. I was like, nigga, I gotta follow this, man. Are you saying, nigga, take them down? Take these whole ass niggas down. See, yeah, I get this nigga all kind of, man. Look, it takes a strong person mentally to go through the process, knowing how high up it is and how controlled it is, and the type of corruption and these people to go out every day and to do some shit like that. And he's been doing it for a little while too. So check him out. Yeah, check him out. So yeah, I ain't got nothing else for y'all, man. Let me move this to the side. Whoop, I'm on the wrong screen. I'm like, why is that moving? Hold on. Move this over here. Move this down here. Um, give us the name again. Oh, I got you. Faith Walking Chez. Faith Walking Chez. Chez. Faith Walking Chez. Or Chezra. Probably be easier for you to do that, but Chezra D. Porter Jr. or Porte Jr., not Porter, Port without the R, Porter without the R. Jr. Chezra D. Port Jr. Sounds like he's Creole. Name sounds hella Creole. Uh, and think about that. Them Creole niggas was known to be them niggas up there. It takes some of us to get up in there and to take that bitch down. That's what it takes. Said Pastor Stephen Darby exposed the Masons to rest of his soul. Rest his soul. He was a real one. Pastor Stephen Darby. I feel like I've heard that name before on Code. Uh, let me see. Look him up real quick. But that new S class came out. That motherfucker been on every damn platform period. But that's how you're supposed to run a rollout these days. You may put it on everything all at the same time so everybody know it came out. New S class. Oh yeah. I thought that's the dude that I was thinking of. For let me show people so those that haven't seen know who you're talking about. Not him. Him right there. That's who I thought you was talking about. What's up, Candace? Yeah, that's who I thought you was talking about. And yeah, I remember him. He was always on some like viral videos here and there, always going against the grain. Always going against the grain. Dope shit. I said, give us that again. It was a real gym. He said it was just a game. Yeah, somebody give that at I need to follow him too. Oh yeah, I just gave yeah. Yeah, Danielle from a while ago was a Hawkins and she caused all kinds of confusion. Indian agent. Oh wow, really? Well, see, these people are what they came from. You hoe ass niggas. And we are who we came we are who we came from. Strong folks, leaders, divine guides, not some demon ass motherfucking weirdos. It's in the military. Oh yeah, okay, I got it. Oh, yeah, it's making sure. Who was that said GM? Blackberry molasses, what's happening? Uh Trey, everybody. All right. Shalom. What's up, Lola? If you just got in, I'm sorry. I'm about to get off. Dang, Lola, you late. No, just playing. But it's all going to be available for the playback. Either way. All right, y'all. And I'm looking over here at my YouTube real quick. But they've been saying the same thing. It's crazy. That's crazy. What? I try to educate all my cousins. All those fraternities and sororities are demonic, but they won't listen. Boule is Illuminati demons. Pray for the world. Yep. Yeah, that's real, Brian McGee. That man was bright, and I think he passed away for sure. Oh, I think you're talking about this dude right here. Yeah. And Ogre said, rest his soul. Natives say they don't wear gold, but all the indigenous pictures show us wearing big gold. Exactly. And lots of pearls. They show us wearing lots of pearls. Them niggas don't wear pearls. They don't wear gold. None of that stuff. The gems. We got stuff with us wearing gems, having gems in our teeth as Indians, pulled out of certain things. So yeah, no, that's real. That's real. You said YouTube, yeah, Lola. It'll be on YouTube. Yes, he was amazing. Yeah, he was. Sister Moon, what's happening? So yeah, I'm gonna get off here, man. I ain't gonna hold y'all up. Thank you so much. That's 2 hours and 20 minutes of your life with your boy Haile Kuhio. You're like, damn, nigga, calm down. But that's some life, some time with your boy, man. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all, man. I wouldn't do this without y'all. I would, but it makes it more better that y'all are around. Well, imagine I was doing all of this in old times before the internet, and I didn't have a whole audience to be able to really go back and forth. And y'all help me too. Y'all sometimes prompt certain things for me to question certain things, or you'll respond with certain things that'll make me look something and be like, damn, I didn't know. So you're a part of this process. This is in many cases, this is like real time research live. Of course I research shit and come up on here, with some shit that I've already found. But then I also do a good bit of it too here on live with you. And you get to be part of that process. You get to see the revelations, the emotions that I have when I find this shit. Like I literally get excited. I literally get blown away. Like literally, what? Church wardens, nigga, schoolmasters, season niggas goods and property as a church warden. Oh, yeah. That I live to find corruption and root it out. It ain't that I just want to find it. I'd rather it not be around. But if it's around, I live to root it out, nigga, and fix it. And that's what I'm here for, man. And I'm here for my people. So Sam saying what up, CC Stateside? He said I appreciate everything you do. Thank you, Adventures of a Goddess. TikTok stay blocking your notifications. I ain't surprised, bitch ass niggas. They be like, he cussed too much. That's gonna be the excuse every time. He cussed too much. I stop cussing, they'll still fucking block my shit. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna be me no matter what. Except for my documentaries, I won't be cussing. If I won't be doing the cussing. Documentaries, you want that to be able to be watched by all people, children, and all. So, um, but on my live stream, nigga, I gotta be me. If I'm not me, I won't be real when I'm being real, trying to be real. So, I appreciate y'all. What up, Cap Nat man? What up, Jim Dropper? Said Pastor Stephen Darby be cooking. He do. That nigga do, man. That nigga do, man. Y'all need to look up some of his old shit if y'all haven't. If y'all haven't. What up, Geechee? Geechee Yemi? It said straight up, bro. All right, man. I appreciate y'all. I done said it 30 times. And I'm gonna get off here for the 80th time. And y'all enjoy y'all's day.